welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk you through everything that I think you need to know before you go on a trip to Tokyo Disney Resort. We went last spring in 2019. We had the best time ever. Before we went, I was a little bit unsure about what to expect because I have been to almost every Disney in the world. The only one I haven't been to now is Shanghai. So obviously I'd had experience of lots of different Disney resorts and I'd never had any trouble with language barriers or anything like that when I've been there. So I wasn't too concerned about that side of it, but it did seem from looking at videos and things on the internet that the way that the park worked was slightly different to other parks that I've been to before. So I just wanted to give you all the advice that I have from having been in the last year, talk you through so that you have a good idea about what to do before you go. So first of all, buying your tickets. There's all sorts of different advice out there. You can of course buy your tickets at the gate. When I was there, that would have been something that we could have done really easily. I have heard, I've got a friend who told me that I think she must have gone during a really busy time, and she says that when she got there, they said that they were sold out. So what I think probably, I don't think tickets for Disney ever sell out. So I think what probably happened was the park was just basically too full and they couldn't let anyone else in. So they weren't selling more tickets. But the different thing about Tokyo Disney compared with Disney World, for example, is you do actually allocate the day that you want to buy your tickets for beforehand. So obviously for many people that might have been to Disney World, you'll know that you can buy your ticket and you don't have to say the date that you're going to arrive beforehand, obviously unless you're staying at a hotel, but won't go into that. So yeah, you do have to plan a little bit for Tokyo Disney Resort, which didn't bother me. I like planning my trips before, but for some people that like to kind of just decide when they get there, it's worth, just taking note of what you need to do. So you can go on the website. I'll try and bring up the page here for you so you can see how to do it. The prices at the time when I went, which was 18,100 yen, that was for 3 days, which works out at around £126. So you can see on this website, you buy it before. I did have a couple of times where I tried to go on there and buy the tickets and it kept saying that the website was too busy and things like that. So it is worth just having a good look at it beforehand. And I do know that I didn't have any trouble buying on my credit card, but I know that some people in the US, there's certain cards that they won't accept. So it is worth just looking at it beforehand and making sure that you can get those tickets. But yeah, I didn't have any trouble buying mine here in the UK online. And then they just send you over your tickets as a PDF and then you need to print them out beforehand, which I did at home and then took them with me on our trip. So when you're buying your tickets, you also need to decide where you're going on which day, which was something that I have never had to consider before when going on Disney trips. Obviously in Florida, you do like to think about your Fast Pass Plus reservations. But this is literally, you have to decide if you're going to Disney Sea or Disneyland on your first day, or Disney Sea or Disneyland on your second day. And then the third day, if you decide to do your 3 days, you have to, that's the day that you're allowed to park hop. So you have to do those first 2 days before you're allowed to park hop. I'm not sure why they do that, but it does mean that you have to focus all your attention on one park each day. It might be controlling numbers, I suppose, but yeah. So that is something to think about. So we opted to go to Disney Sea for our first day. Obviously, Disney Sea is a park that there is nowhere else in the world. I honestly can't compare it to any other park. A lot of people that have seen pictures of it and stuff when I've got back have been like, oh, it's like Epcot, but I actually wouldn't say that it is like Epcot at all, really, other than the way that when you walk in, maybe it looks a bit like the going around the world, but it really isn't like that at all. You've got Tower of Terror. That's probably one of the only rides that you would recognise there. And even Tower of Terror isn't really like the Tower of Terror that you would expect. I would say that I've gone off on a tangent here, but I would say that the rides at Tokyo Disney, the theming was incredible, but the thrill rides I wouldn't say were as thrilling as they are in Paris or Florida. But yeah, that's something to talk about later. So once you've got your tickets and you've decided which days you're going, of course, then it's how to get there. So depending on obviously where you're coming from, we were travelling from Kyoto, we got the bullet train into Tokyo from Kyoto, and the way that we got there was we got the train, or the like underground system, the metro, to Maihama station, and that's the main station for Disney. And then we got the monorail to the Bayside stop because we were staying at the Hilton Tokyo Bay. There are 4 stops on the line, basically one for Disney Sea, one for Disneyland, one for Tokyo, one for like the hotels, so the Hilton Tokyo Bay, which is the one we stayed at, and then another one which is kind of a bit like downtown Disney or Disney Springs sort of idea, where they've got like the big complex with the shops and the restaurants and things like that, which we did actually go to and is in my day 2 vlog video, which I'll link both my vlogs below of the trip. But yeah, so when you get there, you have to go on the monorail. You do have to pay for the monorail. It's not like the one in Florida. Apparently that is to do with actually the law in Japan, because it's a technically public transport, you have to be charged for it. I don't think we spent more than probably about 10 or 15 pounds in total on the monorail while we were there. So we just topped up our IC card on our first day, and then we just used it freely as we went around. It wasn't a big deal, but it's just worth knowing before if you're budgeting for the trip, and also when you get there, knowing that you need to have some sort of way of getting around. You can buy like a day pass or a 2-day pass as well when you get there, and although there might be a slight language barrier, everybody there is so helpful and so willing to kind of make sure that they know how to help you. You can use Google Translate, things like that, if you ever have any trouble trying to communicate as well. So yeah, we didn't have any trouble buying the tickets at all. So we went to the Hilton Tokyo Bay, which I would definitely recommend. I know that the Disney resort hotels are really, really hard to get reservations at, and they're also really expensive. I think you have to like be there on the day, however many days before, to try and actually get the reservations for those hotels. I don't know loads about those, so probably not the best person to give advice on that, but for Hilton Tokyo Bay, I would highly recommend. We were there for 3 days. We had originally reserved a double room overlooking the parks, but when we got there, they offered us, for I think it was worked out around about £40 extra, we got an upgrade. And that meant that we were in the Celebrio rooms, which basically means that we got free breakfast. So that wasn't free because we got the upgrade, but yeah, so we got breakfast included, which was really good, and I would actually really highly recommend. There was so much selection, and obviously when you're going out to the parks as well, it's nice to have had a decent breakfast before you go, because sometimes to get into the parks there is a really, really long queue. I think each day it took us about half an hour in the morning to get into the parks, so it is worth having had a bit of breakfast before. So I think even just paying that money just to be upgraded for the free breakfast was worth it. Obviously I can't compare how much bigger our room was because of the upgrade, but I do know there were a lot of big like school groups and things like that, and because we'd opted to upgrade, we were on a separate floor, which meant that obviously it was just a bit quieter and all that sort of stuff. But highly recommend the hotel, really clean, much bigger bedrooms than any other place we stayed while we were in Japan. Staying in Tokyo, the size of hotel rooms, for anyone that's ever been there, you'll know, they don't have very big hotel rooms because there's just not enough space to have massive rooms. But Hilton was more like a normal Hilton hotel that you would expect to have, quite big bedrooms, nice bathroom, and the view of Disney. Fast passes, they're more like the old fast pass system like you have at Disneyland Paris or Hong Kong Disney, and I think Disneyland is still the same, although I haven't been to Disneyland in a few years. So yeah, you just have to decide where you're going, go up, pick the times. We got fast passes for Winnie the Pooh's Honey Hunt. We had to get fast passes for that. That's one of the most popular rides there. Tower of Terror was another one over in Disney Sea that we had to get a fast pass for. But other than that, a lot of the focus in Tokyo is on the parades and the shows, and it's definitely worth like not overlooking those because they are really, really impressive. You'll see people sat down when you get into the park first thing in the morning, sat down ready, we're already waiting to get their position for the parade. People really, really enjoy the parades over there. You know, wearing your ears, wearing Disney outfits, go for it. Everybody there is joining in. That was something I really, really liked about it. Everyone was just absolutely going for it, really enjoying getting into the Disney spirit, which is what it's all about. Something else that we really enjoyed doing while we were there was sampling all of the popcorn flavours. It's a massive thing over there. You can get popcorn buckets. I very, very nearly bought one, but then realised I probably had nowhere to store it when I got home, and I was just getting a bit overexcited. But yeah, there's different popcorn buckets at different locations around the park, so you can't just buy them in any shop. You have to know where to go. So like, for example, the Winnie Pooh one, which is honey flavoured popcorn. You can buy the Winnie the Pooh bucket. There's different ones in Disney Sea and different places like that where you can get them. All sorts of different crazy flavours. There's shrimp flavour, honey, chocolate flavour, so many. I did vlog tasting most of those in my video, which again I will link below. I actually ate so much popcorn on the second day that I barely ate anything else. I actually felt a bit sick because I ate so much popcorn, so don't do that. But yeah, they weren't too expensive. I think it was about £3 per bucket of popcorn. And if you do buy the souvenir bucket, they fill that one up for you. And they also, if you haven't finished it all, will get rid of it and everything for you as well. So yeah, that was something that we found really fun. There are so many treats and different things to try at Tokyo Disney that you can't get anywhere else in the world. We tried so many different things. It was really, really fun. That was something that we really enjoyed as part of it. The ice creams, all of it, it was great. Of course, they've got some of the rides that you would always expect to have at Disney. Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, although that wasn't actually open when we were there, which I was a bit gutted about because I really liked Splash Mountain. And obviously, we don't have it in Paris, so I only get to go there when we go to Disney World, which is the park that we go to the most other than Paris. But over in Disney Sea was where there were more rides that you wouldn't get to see anywhere else. Raging Spirits was the ride that we queued up for the longest. We went after Fantasmic to queue up for that because all day the queue was like 2 hours long. It is a really fun ride. I wouldn't say any of the rides at Tokyo Disney are too intense for most people that enjoy going on rides. So say if you're going on, it's not more intense than Mount Everest in Florida, I wouldn't say. I don't think anything there is anywhere near as fast or scary and dark as that. So if you're alright going on that ride, you're pretty much going to be fine with anything at Tokyo Disney. But yeah, if you are going, have the best time. It was the most amazing experience. We absolutely loved it. We already want to go back. When we booked our trip, we said, oh, it'll be a once in a lifetime thing. Go over, you know, obviously see Japan and make sure that we see Tokyo Disney. But we're completely converted and I already desperately want to go back and see more. They are there was some construction going on there when we were there, so there's definitely more rides coming up, more things to see. But Tokyo Disney Sea itself is so impressive, just going to that alone. If you do only have one day to go to Disney on your trip, I would definitely recommend going to Disney Sea. It's like no other park. Disneyland is obviously amazing, and there are lots of things about it that are different, like the Main Street is undercover. It's completely different to any other Main Street that I've been to. And as I say, Shanghai's the only one that I haven't been to. But other than that, it's the Magic Kingdom. It's, you know, a lot of the rides are quite similar. The layout is fairly similar. But Tokyo Disney Sea is just another world. So yeah, that would be my top tip. If you do only have one day, definitely go to Disney Sea. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all about the trip, if you're planning a trip, please just ask below. I did so much research before I went, so I have so many different things that I can tell you about the trip. I am going to also try and make some more videos about our time in Tokyo and in Kyoto as well, because I know that before I went I watched loads and loads of YouTube videos, so I'd like to share everything that I learned from before and from going there as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and see you soon.